The newspaper came, and I told them what happened. I said, he was possessed. I want the truth to be told, that these things are real.
Something terrible happened here.
You cannot take this lightly. Good versus evil, it's real.
Hey everybody, this weekend marks the long-awaited release of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. In one of the most chilling cases, Ed and Lorraine Warren try to prove the innocence of Arne Cheyenne Johnson, a young man who killed his landlord while supposedly in the throes of a brutal demonic possession. Now, if you're a fan of the Warrens and you like paranormal stories or ever listened to Coast to Coast as a kid, was a real guy, and in fact his defense at his trial was that he was possessed by the devil.
This is a court of law. The standards of evidence are completely different.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
Now, in the press tour for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, all involved, including Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, have described The Conjuring films as essentially Ed and Lorraine Warren fan fiction. Real-life paranormal investigators, to some their legends, to others charlatans, although it can't be denied that some of the stories they've told over the years are really compelling. Many folks simply want to believe this stuff, and it certainly makes for good popcorn fare judging from how The Conjuring has grown into a billion-dollar franchise for Warner Brothers. Now, at this point, there are two kinds of Conjuring films. There's the legit Conjuring movies, meaning The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring 3, and the Conjuring universe movies, which include Annabelle, The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is the third installment of the legit series, although in a disappointing move, director James Wan hasn't returned in favor of kickstarting yet another horror franchise with Warner Brothers' Malignant, which comes out this fall. To fill in, he's chosen Michael Chaves, who made the Conjuring universe movie The Curse of La Llorona, which was pretty well reviewed. While not up to par with the previous two Conjuring films, and it's a simple fact, it's just not, Chaves has made a solid addition to the franchise that I think will please hardcore fans of the saga. While not up to par with the previous two Conjuring films, and it's a simple fact, it's just not, Chaves has made a solid addition to the franchise that I think will please hardcore fans of the saga. As opposed to the Conjuring spin-offs, the chief appeal of the legit Conjuring movies has always been Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as the Warrens, and they're back here and as good as ever. It was always a treat to see these AAA caliber actors dive into horror, as they've always given the franchise a level of credibility it might not have had otherwise. They ground the movies because you can't help but invest in the relationship between the Warrens, which, as always, is pure adoration, although in real life, I believe that things were a touch more complicated. Now, perhaps the biggest disappointment of the movie is that Patrick Wilson's Ed feels more than a little sidelined here, with his character suffering from a heart attack early on that makes him a lot more passive than he was in previous installments, for a while anyway. However, it does give the film a sense of danger with him being in such a fragile state, with Lorraine having to take the more physically active role this time. Wilson and Farmiga are top-notch as always, and I doubt the movie would work nearly as well as it does without them. That said, the scares in this one are a mixed bag, and if you can't rely on the Conjuring movies to be really scary, then it can't be denied there's a bit of a problem. The movie starts with an absolutely kick-ass teaser depicting an exorcism gone awry, with it climaxing in Ruairi O'Connor's Arne taking possession of a demon to save his young brother-in-law's life. It depicts the Warrens arguably messing up, with the whole thing going so wrong that it almost kills Ed and leaves Arne half crazy. It gives them extra motivation to try and save the now possessed Arne from jail, and O'Connor is likable in the part, if perhaps a little too clean cut. I mean, he basically walks around with a halo over his head.
You okay? Now you just stay right there, okay? Don't move.
I think I heard someone.
My issue is that the rest of the movie just doesn't live up to this jaw-dropping start. The intro is so good, I was convinced that this was going to be like the best Conjuring movie ever, but nothing else in the film comes close to living up to this huge set piece. One of the things I always liked about the James Wan movies is how they didn't rely on cheap scares, which is when things are, quiet, suddenly loud. Cheap scares were mainly for the spin-offs, but they're pretty prominent here, and that's disappointing, as the film will work a lot better in theaters with a good sound system than at home in HBO Max, which has always been for me the problem of the Conjuring spin-offs. They may be fun to watch one time, but it's not exactly something that you put on in the background to really dive into again at home because, they just don't really hold up. So if you watch this movie on HBO Max, unfortunately the impact of these moments is going to be lessened considerably unless you have a monster sound setup. The movie, however, does have a strong villain who I'm not going to spoil here, as it's kind of a late movie reveal. The makeup effects are cool and the climax is solid, and once again Joseph Bishara contributes a creepy score to liven up the action, while it was also fun seeing Fringe star John Noble show up in a small part. All in all though, I must admit I was somewhat disappointed by The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, just because the first two movies set the bar so high. Now, that doesn't make this a bad movie. In fact, I would say it's probably more than decent. As far as the series goes, I'd rank it way below the first two James Wan films, but ahead of all the spin-offs, which, truth be told, I never really liked. If you have a choice, see this one in theaters. It's probably a lot scarier on the big screen than it is at home. So hey, this might be a good movie to, kick off that big ol' return to theaters. Get some popcorn and enjoy. I give this one a solid-ish 7 on 10 if you see it in theaters, and probably more of a 6 on 10 if you watch it at home.
The Warrens, they've helped police investigate different cases, help find missing people, and so I felt like this would be a natural direction to go into that is something a bit different.
I'm here to tell our story. There's not one day in my life that goes by that I never think about it. It's always there, it scars you. I met Arne when I was working down in Bridgeport. When Arne and I rented a home, my brother David, he started getting physically attacked.
Where Arne comes into play, Arne witnessed what they assume was a demonic possession with David.
David was suffering so bad, and we're all right there with him. Arne couldn't take it anymore because he was trying to help my brother.
Leave him alone! Take me! At his wit's end, he called out to Nadim and invited him into his own.
And when he had challenged the beast, it gradually started to manifest and come to him. February 16th, 1981, my boss started to really become inebriated.
Your girl's gonna think I'm a drunk!
Arne said, let's get out of here. He started walking down the stairs, and I heard a guttural yell out of Arne. And then I turned around and looked at my boss, he's on the ground. And I seen blood all on his shirt.
I think I hurt someone.
The newspaper came, and I told them what happened. I said, he was possessed. I want the truth to be told.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
Whatever is going on, whatever happened that day, that was not Arne.
It's a witch's totem. We think your family was cursed. And that connection's still open.
I'm only interested in reality.
But I can see things that your people can't.